What's happening, everybody? It's boop 9:24, an hour and 24 minutes later, and I'd like to go. I've had calls that started this morning, they kept going, some conference call. Regardless, no excuses, play like a champion. I'm late, guys, but of course, today's an important one. I pick and choose when I decide to get political. I'm sharing this on the personal page because even though I have my political page that I talk a lot about, or talk a lot of politics on, I try to keep things as neutral as possible on my personal. But as we get closer to what I believe is an incredibly important election in this country, I believe as though you out there, if you are in agreement or whatever it is, we need to be able to start having these conversations on social media. A good friend of mine the other day posted something regarding about, like, wouldn't it be nice if on social media we didn't talk politics? And I'm going to disagree with that statement. I'm going to tell you why right after I leave this on my personal page. Because again, Zuckerberg, part of the reason we have to talk about stuff like this, won't allow me to go live on my personal page for 60 days. Why? We still don't know. There's no evidence. There's no nothing. They haven't told me. So here you go. Why a primary is important in an election. That's today's truth. So, all right, we've got it shared. We've got people watching. Like this video, share this video, do all the things with this video. So the comment was made that stop using his. I'm not obsessed with Zucky. I'm not. So the comment was made that we should, wouldn't it be a nicer place if we didn't actually talk politics on these platforms? But here's the deal: we kind of have to. Why is it showing that it's frozen on that end? I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and close that. We should, because we have to be honest about something. And if you are a Democrat voter or an independent or a libertarian, whatever, or conservative, whatever, you have to understand the truth and the fact about media. And yes, Fox News is considered a conservative media brand. But if you look across the board, the actual statistics show that in terms of mainstream media, it is 88 to 92% leaning in one direction, which is towards the left or towards the Democratic Party. So with that said, if we don't have, and social media is the main place to get information these days, if we don't have that voice and the ability to talk about it, and although it gets ugly, and although most things are not solved behind a keyboard, repetition of factual information or counterpoints are the only way that people can grow in their mind, in their mental ability, in their mental acuity. So Casey said primaries aren't important. Our government is great and will choose for us. Exactly, which takes me to my point. And I think tonight on the show Truth Will Set You Free that we do every Tuesday, we'll probably talk more about this. If you want to learn more about getting better at communications and speaking, come to my Wednesday night speaking class called Speaking with Intention. All you got to do is go to doubledownspeaking.com. It is a free class, free workshop, 6 p.m. on Wednesdays. All right. So why are primaries important? And if this is something that resonates with you, I encourage you to share it on your personal page or whatever it might be. Let people know that you're trying to stake a presence where you are in allowing people to get information they may not hear in a lot of places. So what we're seeing with Kamala Harris, who was one of the most unpopular candidates for president in 2020 on the Democrat side, she did very poorly. She got 1% of the vote at her best and never actually earned any delegates and was left out of really any serious contention, but was chosen for vice president. I'm not going to get into why my belief system on that. I'm going to explain specifically why a primary is important in a very short period of time. So what we're seeing right now is Kamala Harris, essentially her campaign, without a debate yet or without actually her speaking on it, she is going back on all of her platforms from 2020. I don't want to say all. I hate using absolutes. Most of her platforms from 2020. Things like mandatory gun buybacks, which again, if you are ultra no Second Amendment shouldn't be there, then that's for you. But understand that that's not the bulk of America. There's a lot of America believes in gun control, but not that level. So mandatory gun buybacks for assault weapons. She believed that. It says that on her platform that she doesn't believe that anymore. Talked about the fact that she wanted to abolish immigration customs. She wanted to abolish ICE. So now she doesn't want to do that, according to her website. It's not even on her website. She's taken off her platform. But what her campaign is saying, a couple other that would be considered more far left viewpoint. actually rated more radical than even Bernie Sanders in the 2020 primary. So the reason a primary is important is right now she's able to go back on all of it. And she was essentially coronated by the Democrat Party. She essentially got to the place where she's at right now because of the fact that there was no primary. And in the end, it was Joe Biden ushering it to her and just saying, this is the heir apparent. So when a primary happens, and I'm going a little over 5 minutes, but this is a very important thought process. So when a primary happens, whether it's a Republican or whether it's a Democrat, they have to run a campaign based on winning their party's approval, which in a lot of ways can be very dangerous because on the conservative side, they're going to run on they have to a lot of times run on a very pro-life platform, even if maybe they're like Trump that has some exceptions or not full-blown pro-life, but they have to run on it in order to get the nomination from their people. And then since the election comes up right after that, those message points are being able to be used by the opposition to scare their side out of voting. People are driven by fear more than they're driven by happiness and success. That's human nature. So when they're afraid of it, then they're able to use that. For somebody like Kamala Harris, or for anybody, say they picked anybody without a primary process, they have the ability to manipulate their narrative. And again, it's politicians, and this isn't just the left, this isn't just the right, this is politicians in general are going to lie to get votes. That is what they do, especially because of the way Congress and everything works. You're able to, essentially it's legal insider trading. These people are worth hundreds of millions of dollars to be civil servants. So everybody is going to grease the wheels however they can to get into office, which is part of a very broken system, different conversation for a different day. But when you don't have to primary, you are able to say that was for the last time I said it was a long time ago. I don't believe that anymore. I don't think any of us, I don't believe that Kamala Harris has gone away from those belief systems. That doesn't make sense to me, except for the sake of the fact that she can do that if she wants. She can stand back and say, oh no, I don't believe what I was very strict about believing 4 or 5 years ago, because guess what? She wants to get elected. Everything in a primary is going to be held to account during the actual general election when you face off against the other side. And she has the advantage of now being able to say whatever she wants and say that was a long time ago. That is a very dangerous candidate. And when people are like, Anthony, and I think most people know where I stand politically, people say, well, Anthony, you just sound like you're afraid now. You're in fear. You're scared of Kamala. I am. Absolutely. Because in my heart of hearts, based on what I know, her as a candidate, her as a vice president, her as a senator, her as a DA, and her as just a speaking head. And honestly, I could take away her policies. And I think the danger that she's done and the failures that she's done. And I talk about the fact that on a global level, I think that we become an even weaker country. And I think that shouldn't be just afraid of like, well, Anthony, you're just afraid that you can't run the country. Well, look what happens globally when things start to go to mush, when things start to become an issue like this. There's wars all over the world. There's what's the word I'm looking for? There is instability all over the world, and we are the leader of that free world. And I think that it goes above and beyond, like, we should try something different. We need to have, I'm not opposed to a female president. I'm not opposed to a black president. I voted for Obama 2 times. I did. Like, that's not the issue that I have. The issue is I think that a lot in our own country, we're going to have some problems economically. And then when it comes to abroad, I think that we are we shouldn't be the peacekeepers. We shouldn't be the ones doing it, but we kind of are. If we're stable, everybody's stable. And I think we need to recognize that. So that's why I want to provide as much truth on why I am afraid of a candidate that didn't have to primary, because they're allowed to tell you whatever they want. And when their job is to get elected, that's a very dangerous position to be in. When you don't have the last 6 months of being up on a stage or being in the public spotlight saying, this is my beliefs, this is my beliefs, this is my beliefs. You don't have that. You are at a heavy advantage, especially when you are what would be considered a far left candidate, or even if you're a far right candidate. If you are somebody that believes in crap like The Handmaid's Tale or Project 2025 or something ridiculous on far right on that end, not that, whatever. if you believe it and that's you primaried on it, then you have to be held to account. But if you don't have to do that, you become a very dangerous candidate. So, all right, guys, that's what I got for you. If you would like this video, share this video, do all things with this video. It could be something dangerous to share, but I think that this was as middle ground as I could possibly be, and also provide information on why that's a dangerous coronation politically for people. So God bless, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Don't surrender your pets. Don't be a garbage human being. Take it easy.